the city's... Well, going back to what you said, first off, you have 2,400 people on your list?
Yeah, 24. We have the list of all the local electeds in the state, every city.
Just a list. They're not actual members, but you at least have the contact.
No, we don't do a membership thing.
But you can reach them.
Oh yeah,
and you do reach them.
I contact them on a pretty regular basis, and so our group's name, California Cities for Local Control, is kind of well known throughout the local electeds, and so they open my emails, and they don't delete. I have a huge, tremendous open rate for my emails. They recognize our group's name. Many of them are willing to say they support what we're doing, and I have a list on our website. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at our website.
I glanced at it before I came over.
Almost 800 local electeds who have said we can use their name on our website, saying that they support protecting local control over land use and zoning. So you can see all the names of all those electeds on our website. And we also have 82 cities that have passed resolutions to try to protect local control. So that's a pretty strong statement. And I know there's many more that would be willing to do it, but many of them are afraid to put their name publicly because they're afraid of retribution from the state, which the state is being very, very heavy-handed.
Well, it's not just the state, it's their path of maintaining their place in office under the one Democratic Party. For the most part, you have to have the endorsement of the party, and that's the party's policy right now, right? I mean, it is.
Yeah, I mean, having a supermajority is certainly no help to trying to fight these things because there's no balance anymore in Sacramento. And if there's this steamroller feeling of this is what we got to go do, I've had state office holders. Specifically, I'm thinking of one state senator, who said very openly in a public meeting, he doesn't care what his constituents think. All he cares about is what his colleagues think, because they keep him in office.
Well, boy, he's telling the truth.
He is.
Wow.
And he had no problem saying it in a public meeting.
Oh,
this was about 4 years ago.
Well, that's the...
and he's still in office today.
And that's who...
Really, the way it seems to be working is that they all pat each other's back. You vote for my bill, I'll vote for your bill, and everybody live happily ever after.
And then you look at the media, like the article that I sent you the link to. I guess you weren't able to read it, but
no, I couldn't. No.
Amy did some research on a Wall Street Journal article that came out just yesterday regarding the state senator Scott Wiener, who's now hoping to run for Pelosi's seat.
No, he is going to run for it.
Oh, he is running. That's exactly right. And it was a incredibly laudatory piece, just making him out to be the best, and the only and talking about his affordable housing plan for California that he hopes to take nationwide. Okay, he wants to take it nation, and there was no comment from anybody in the article who had a different opinion. Right? There was just the one phrase that NIMBYs have, just the word NIMBYs. So Amy just in her email said she researched, found out it was a 25-year-old reporter who had the names and addresses or whatever of 3 different people involved in the fight, but did not reach out to them. Amy's doing all this. We're already just
she's awesome.
Right
she's
on
awesome.
it. Yeah. So that's it too. You get the youthful media, and I say youthful because I think it is youthful. I think it's the veteran reporters maybe have more of a...
And the younger folks tend to be the ones that support these policies more than the older folks. I think homeowners are typically against these kind of things. Young folks who are just starting out and maybe not necessarily homeowners and renters, they're all for it.
But it's interesting, like just coming on the drive down the 110 and seeing there's some massive apartments along the way with the immediate occupancy signs.
Horrendous.
There is basically no shortage of rental space.
there's many people who will make the argument there's no shortage of housing.
And this is what they're talking. This is what they're doing. They're building rental spaces.
16,000 homes were lost in the fires a year ago. Everybody's home. Everybody's housed. Where did all those people go? They're in housing. If there was a shortage of housing, we would have a huge problem and we'd be hearing about it, but we're not, because they all found housing. There's housing available. It's
a hoax.
It's a total fabrication.
Yeah.
And our population's been declining in California for years now. So
it's almost like the economics right now. I mean, I'm speculating in my mind in terms of just looking at. I understand business office rentals, for instance, tending to be in the Bay Area, San Francisco, very flat. There's like a very high
very bad here too.
Availability, or the occupancy rate is way below what they would like.
Yep.
There's threatening defaults, and yet they're plunging headlong. These developers headlong into this thing that they still believe somehow that maybe they're just investing down the road. Oh, we could just have to hang through this, and 5 years from now there'll be, the flood of, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about the commercial real estate markets at all, and I'm not even an expert on any real estate market, to be honest. But I mean, I've been on the Torrance City Council for 10 years. I was turned out last in 2024, and I saw a lot of stuff in those 10 years. And Torrance is a built-out city. We have no available space. The only way to increase density is to cram stuff where there really shouldn't be any stuff built. I mean, I'm seeing the most ridiculous projects now going through that would never have gone through before on these pieces of property that are, in my opinion, unbuildable. But some developer who sees dollar signs as a motivation said, well, I'll find a way to build 20 units on that little sliver of unbuildable land, and I don't care how it destroys the community around it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make my money, and I'm going to walk away and leave the city with the horrendous nightmare to live forever. And that the developers don't care. They're just out for a buck. They're not there to design our cities in a way that makes sense for a city. They're out there to design it for themselves to maximize their income, and then they sell the project and move on.
There's a thread of historical knowledge that has been evaporated. Somehow, certainly, as you say, going back to 50 years to our youth, in Torrance or in Marin County or wherever, California was in the midst still of and it's been this way since probably 1849, but this massive growth that started seeing in a lot of suburban communities already, the more and more of throwing up apartments, even in little small towns, were starting to sprout up based on growth. And there became a pushback. There was a certain environmental, I wouldn't say backlash, but a knowledge about, well, wait a minute, what are we doing here? Water, fire, these are issues. Look at the traffic in LA, look at, and the San Francisco Bay Area. And there was a pushback on just throwing up these apartments on a nice little block that had one-bedroom homes, which is
well, and that's the whole issue of the R1 zone neighborhoods and suburban neighborhoods. The state wants to eliminate that, and they're doing that very effectively. I grew up in an R1 zone neighborhood up in Altadena, actually, and I enjoyed the neighborhood I lived in, and my parents chose to live there because they didn't want to live in a dense downtown environment. That's a choice they made. And
a world where, that community involves less commitment, or it's just like an apartment in a complex, and like community might even be a word that is looked upon with suspicion.
Well,
perhaps that you're going to. I'm just.
I mean, community. It used to mean something. I mean, there were community standards that people had a certain expectation of what when they moved into a particular community of what they were getting into. Mm-hmm. Those are shifting dramatically as a result of these state laws, and not in a good way. The people that are being impacted, who don't know that these laws are happening, are now really screaming about, how is this happening? How are you allowing this to happen in our neighborhoods? And as I said earlier, they're coming to City Hall and blaming City Hall for it when City Hall their hands are completely tied. And everyone at City Hall has to tell the residents, sorry, this is the state law that we have to follow. And the public just doesn't understand that, because traditionally throughout all of our histories, every living person on earth, at least in the United States, has expected that the cities are the ones who control and manage what our cities look like. And that has changed for the first time in my lifetime, where it's no longer controlled by the city, it's controlled by the state. And every single year that goes by, more and more of the planning of our cities is being taken away and diverted to the state legislature. And they're making those decisions on how they want our communities to look in a one-size-fits-all manner that doesn't represent the uniqueness of all of our different cities and communities.
I think we are here in California. We were like the leader in this bad trend.
We're definitely, yeah.
But yet it's something that I've seen stories from New York and Massachusetts, and they're emulating what they think.
There's a model that's out there that I think part of it is that one of the things that I've learned over the years in government is follow the money. The money is what's driving all of this. The developers who make all the money on all these projects that are being now built that weren't being built before, profiting handsomely for this. Well, if you look at most of the state politicians that are in office today, their campaigns have primarily been funded by developers. This is pure payback to the developers who keep these folks in office. That's the money trail. And so the state legislators don't create the bills anymore. It's the lobbyists who support them who are creating these bills. They're telling the legislators, this is the bill we want you to come forward with. And they just attach their name as the author, as the state legislator, because obviously the lobbyists can't put their name on it. And then this is the thanks that they get for helping get these people elected. And so they move these bills forward. And so other states are saying, oh yeah, well, I can have a sure, clear-cut way to get myself reelected by getting all this campaign money from these special interests, in this case developers, to keep me elected. And that's how the world turns these days.
Well, supposedly we have a two-party democracy right now. And
where do you think that came? Where did you base that off of?
What is your suggestion? Are you saying that it's only one, or is you saying
in
that
California it's only a single party?
Oh, right. But all right, I did preface it with a supposedly. So it was sort of like, let's look at this. What do we have here?
There's nothing
in
two-party
that
about
realm
California.
of where people supposedly vie for office by having different opinions, bounce against each other, and fighting for the right to have.
Everything's predetermined. The special interests know who to put their money behind. It's like all these people are destined to take these positions, and it's like it's almost pointless to have elections. They almost seem like they're predefined.
They are, but I'm not giving up on.
No, I don't. I agree, and it shouldn't be. But this is where the public is so poorly informed that they have no idea that the decisions they're making to help vote for these people is what's destroying our communities through these different bills. And because nobody's paying attention, there's no media that's reporting this. Media, I grew up in a time where I read the paper every day, and the paper actually reported on what was going on in Sacramento and in our city hall. There's none of that anymore. Not the media that anybody pays any attention to in the general public. The general public gets all their media from social media.
I know.
And that's the worst possible place.
I know. I ask my friends who have political opinions, and I say, well, where do you, because there is something like the mainstream media, then you have all the voices on YouTube or whatever, for what all that is. But when I ask my friends, and they'll sort of admit that they don't really watch the news, even if it was fair, but it's either kind of everybody else and or late night comedy, and then you're good enough just to soak up what everybody else. Maybe it's Facebook or drive stuff. I've wanted a different party in this country. I mean, I'm sort of done enough. Every day is a way of looking at the world and self-analysis or social analysis, and in a ongoing, because we're alive, it's always there to sort through every day as we experience it. And so I came in my youth feeling like I had an environmental perception of an environmental mission, and that I could see it from all trends, that things were not heading necessarily in a very good direction.
Environmentally, you're talking.
Yeah, and I can remember in my college dorm with my good buddies looking at projections for the year 2010 or 2020, and we both were like, "Fuck! Do you think the world could be that? There could be that much people then?" And like, holy, like, what is that going to be like? This is what we were thinking in 1971 or 72 in college, pondering that. And then it was, to me, there was always a sense of small is beautiful. How do we get communities to fight, to not fight, but to thrive and to live and to start having something, I don't know, of integrity that could hold off this corporate whatever world. Anyways, I guess I should just jump ahead to here we are, Democrats, Republicans, knocking head, not really saying anything. Neither one of them had the courage to even try to somehow acknowledge some of the points on any other side, the big money. But what if, in California, I want another party, there's nothing I can do about it. Every 2 years, every assemblyman is up for office. This is what I think is like, God, if we could just had another, and it's already too late, I think, for 2026 for assembly. I believe that it's too late now for 2026. But I'm still thinking along those.
I'm not saying it's too late. I don't
no, because I think the time to put your signature down for the assembly races.
Well, no, it's still an opening period for people to get into the race. The filing periods haven't closed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not in California.
How much longer?
I'm not sure what the exact
month,
dates. I think it's around end of February.
Okay, thank you. All right, so there's still chance.
Yeah. But one of the things that our group is doing is that we're now in the process of compiling a list of all the candidates for state office. And we're going to be putting out an endorsement questionnaire, asking them questions about local control and regarding land use and zoning. And so we're going to publicize all the candidates' positions on local control as a way to try to help inform the public.
Excellent.
Who is the candidate that's pro-local control? Because people need to know to vote for those people if they care about the crap that's happening in our communities that you're now starting to see happen, that people are starting to complain about. if you want to stop it, you can't vote for these people that are for that type of bill. We need to vote for people who are against that. And so we're going to try to put together a list of those candidates based on our interview, endorsement interview that we're going to be submitting. We've already kind of put together the questions. We're in the process of compiling the candidates and their contact information so that we can then send out that questionnaire to all the candidates statewide. And then we're going to publish it all on our website.
It's excellent. It's got
I don't know
potential.
how
It's got
it
potential.
has potential. I think it's
a crowbar
important.
that you're trying to get some leverage, trying to open this thing up somehow.
You have to.
And thinking about this article again.
Most of the candidates will probably ignore my endorsement questionnaire altogether. And that's okay. That'll be part of the answers that we get. They didn't respond to our questionnaire.
And this is where I think that maybe your organization, maybe whatever organization Amy is putting together, can be the vehicle of
Did she tell you the name of the organization?
She did, but I forgot.
Better Way
California.
Yeah.
Right.
And supposedly that's going to get formally announced after the first of the year.
Well, it's all, we're all working on our own unique paths, and things need to come together, and that it seems to be your vision to bring things together as well as Amy's. And I think a lot of people, because it's that time where we got to find
Well, I'm
this.
just one cog in the overall effort to fight this.
Right.
My focus, our group's focus, I shouldn't say it's our group. I have a whole bunch of volunteers that are helping me. Is just purely focused on local electeds, because as I've felt since the day I started this project in 2020, the local electeds are the only people that really understand what's happening, because they're the first line of being hit by these state bills. And that's how I found out about it. As a city elected, all of a sudden our staff is coming up and saying we need to change all of our building and zoning rules. And my first question is why? And then I learned brutally the hard way, because state laws have been passed that are forcing us as a city to change our, and I said, wait, I didn't get an opportunity to vote on this. And now the state's forcing us to change these laws in our city, and I have nothing to say about it? That's not right. And that pissed me off to no end.
And the fact that these legislators up in Sacramento, most of them got their start on a local level.
A lot of them, yeah.
Go up to Sacramento and then turn around.
But they realize that no individual city by themselves has any power to fight it. And they also realize that cities don't do a very good job of uniting to fight what's happening. And that's part of the whole mission why I started what I started, is let's unite the cities against what's happening in Sacramento. And it's, we're slowly getting that effort moved out. But it's a painful process, and there's all the momentum is not on our side, and the local electeds are so overburdened with so many difficulties besides this.
I mean, if you want to put a financial figure on the overburden of the communities in California, would you be looking at almost $1 billion? I mean, just thinking of
There's so many issues that are happening at the local level.
Hire more people at the hundreds and hundreds of
cities are
hours.
Cities are overwhelmed
to comply with this thing.
And cities can't take on more, but the state is pushing our hands. And I've met very few local electeds who are really happy about what's happening, but they just don't have the time or the resources to fight it. And so we're trying to help them by saying, let's unite to fight. Let's get people like Pam Lee. Let's fund them to help legally fight this. I'm sure you've heard of the Our Neighborhood Voices ballot initiative.
Refresh me.
Our Neighborhood Voices, ONV.
Right.
That's been in place for quite a number of years. It's an effort to try to put on the ballot a constitutional amendment that will overturn this and require planning and zoning issues stay at the local level, where we all believe it should be, and where the state constitution already kind of says it's supposed to be.
Now, where is this?
It's in the process of gathering money and resources to start signature gathering to get it onto the ballot. Monstrous
Is there
task.
still time for 2026 to get it on?
No, it's 2028 effort. That's the solution if we can get it on the ballot, and if we get it on the ballot, if we can overcome the fight that will hugely erupt with all the developers throwing tons and tons of millions of dollars to fight it, as well as the state legislators fighting it. It's a huge hurdle to get there, but if it passes, it will be the savior to our problem. Much more so than a legal battle.
And it seems like, the millions and millions of dollars that you point out in behalf of the mandates and the YIMBY vision, which is whatever it is, Our Neighborhood Voices, California Cities for Local Control, BetterWay.com could use a little $1 million here.
I'm doing everything I'm doing with $0.
Right.
Nothing.
And somehow we got to open up a channel, right?
Yeah.
We got to.
But our Neighborhood Voices has been begging for money for years, and they've been very limited in their success. Because, for the most part, the general public doesn't know what's happening. That's still the root of the problem. Is that the general public still is totally in the dark.
Right.
And we try to compare this to the Prop 13 fight way back in the day, where people got so fed up with their property taxes that they revolted and ultimately got Prop 13 put on the ballot and passed against huge opposition. So we're hoping for a similar kind of thing with this. But the problem is that Prop 13 had the benefit of every property owner saw their property taxes every year. General public isn't
vague.
Unless they have something going on directly in their neighborhood, they have no idea.
Right.
So they're not personally affected like they were with property taxes.
In Glendale, in my neighborhood, there's like one little stretch where there were 5 houses in a little group, each with a sign saying "Stop High Density Housing," and Concerned Citizens of Glendale was the organization. And I finally, just before I got in the car to come visit you, I just knocked on the door of one and had a chat with the people there. And as I said to them, they were very sweet, and they referred me to the person next door as being the leader, but he wasn't home, but I had a good talk with him. I said, you probably, if you had a bunch of these signs, there's 5 of you houses in a row, a lot of people in Glendale would be having these signs if you could explain it to them. And they were going, yeah. Though, of course, they were really sweet and intelligent people. They go, but of course we get NIMBY's concept thrown in our face. Like, you're a NIMBY.
Yeah.
Oh, that says it all. Walk away. Like, this is such a successful hate word almost.
Right. It is. That's how they try to slam us in a way that makes us feel like we're doing something illegal or inappropriate. It's like, no. You guys are the ones that are doing the inappropriate thing, yet you've flipped it in a way that you're making us feel like we're the bad guys.
Exactly.
And
this is a very
crazy.
Classic.
But it's a technique that I see is used not just in this fight on the housing issues, but I see that in a lot of issues.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that
it's marvelous.
They just flip the script, so to speak,
it's just marvelous how you can take words.
Just like the gas tax. It's like, okay, well, let's flip that around and say, this isn't a gas tax. This is a fix the infrastructure that we need to fix. It was somehow we should have been doing anyway. And it's just crazy how they word this stuff in a way that it's not what it really is. And then people see those words and, oh, that sounds nice. And they vote for it because they have no idea, because nobody spends the time to read it. Nobody's educated on any of these things. And it's not the people's fault.
No.
It's the legislators' fault for taking advantage of the ignorance of the people.
Well, I'm mustering up some optimism just by being in conversation with you. There's a optimism. I think that I think we're gonna. I gotta believe. I gotta pull that optimism.
Well, here's my
and
optimism.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's I'm optimistic, but only from the standpoint of it's kind of like an alcoholic. It's got to get really bad before the people start screaming. And when the people start seeing the devastation that these bills are causing, and by building that's happening in their communities, and they get upset enough about it, then they will revolt. We're not there yet. It's starting to happen, and I'm seeing it. And so I believe very firmly that my group and groups like Amy's and Susan's and all these other groups, we're all in the right place. We're just waiting for that revolt to kick into gear. Hasn't kicked into gear yet. And so when it does, we'll be ready. And we need to harness that when that happens. And I do believe that we're ready. We know what's happening. And if people will listen to us, we're happy to share that with them. And it doesn't take a whole lot of rocket science to understand what's really happening here. It's really clearly obvious to me what's happening here. Just nobody knows. Once they get enlightened, then they'll say, "Holy shit, we got to do something."
Not only that, this is a path to our own dreams. This is the right path, not this other fabrication that you've been following. If I want to hold out some vision, a dream going forward, this is the right path. This need for community, this survival.
Yeah.
You cannot survive without community. The more we completely do away with it, we are creating the.
Well, there's so many forces at work here too. Is there's also this big push to eliminate home ownership. And when you do that, you put people in a position of you're better able to control them. And as soon as the ratio of homeowners to renters has been shrinking, and I think it's soon to be there'll be more renters than homeowners.
Right.
And that's going to create a whole different shift in politics, not in a good way, because then you have a majority of people, not by political party, but by home ownership or not home ownership.
Yeah.
And the renters are always going to go after the homeowners, saying, well, the homeowners, we need to have rent control. We need to have all these things that the property owners don't want. And so when you get enough non-homeowners in that battle, then you can take more control over rent controls and other property taxes and all kinds of things. That the other thing that happens is that renters don't care about community as much as homeowners do. It's a proven fact. I'm just a temporary renter in this place. I don't care what happens in this community. But when you're a homeowner, you have a whole different mindset about your community. When you reduce the number of homeowners, you lose that community.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
You touched on that earlier. Community is completely under attack.
It's a
because community is what can organize and fight. If there's no community, you're familiar with homeowners associations. That's part of community. Homeowners associations are getting weaker and weaker and weaker by the year.
I ran for council twice in my little town, lost both times. I think my campaign, there's many reasons it could have been better. But I made a copy of a quote from this fellow who wrote a book in 1966 entitled "The Destruction of California," and he was a Cal State Humboldt. I can't remember what his field was, but he eventually went to Santa Cruz and is looked upon as the founder of the whole ecology school in Santa Cruz. I think he's passed away. But he wrote about, in the last of his book, the need in California, this is 1966, of a vision. You probably were not a Power 2 or something. A need for a new vision. In 1966, he's telling something that 60 years later, we still haven't, we're still waiting for this, a vision for making California beautiful and working for people. And he used the line, and not for people to fit in some conscription of a computer-driven, he used the term computer-driven in 1966, a computer-driven civilization. And that if we don't confront this, if we don't find this vision, we're going to become the example for the rest of the world of what not to do. This is what his warning to California in 1966. It's a vision thing, you know, and the media thing. And I think about maybe a symbol for you talk about the revolt, a necessary revolt, and it brings to my mind the old Bear Flag revolt. Well, that's in our blood, the first Bear Flag revolt. And we need the second Bear Flag revolt, you know, with maybe a bear and I don't know.
No, and I think, I really do believe that it's going to happen. I just don't know when, because it's a huge effort to educate the people who aren't particularly wanting to be educated because they're so busy with everything else. They don't have time to be educated. I mean, I speak at homeowners association meetings all the time, and I get pretty decent turnouts at those meetings, and every person's jaw drops when I tell them what's going on, but they all go home and they forget about it.
Well, it's like,
and they say, "Oh, that was horrible, but
what can I do, or what is there to do?" You know, I got the remote
but I'm still going
control.
to vote for the same person I voted for last year, and there's just people just don't have the energy to sit down and really think through how can I make a difference.
People are driven by fear too. You get the right ad campaign, and you know, the month before election time, 2 months before election time, and all those, just like you say, the ability to turn words upside down and make the people who are screwing your community become the ones who are supposedly making it better again. You know, it just, people are manipulated. But anyhow, you saw you can probably turn this off, but you don't have to. But so I sent you, I haven't had the courage I don't know what the hell I am. I was just telling Amy, I sent her this thing. I go, what the fuck? Why am I
Yeah, I want to understand a little bit more. What is it you're trying to accomplish?
I told Amy, I know that I look at I feel like there's a steering wheel somehow, and maybe the steering wheel is a mythical, and maybe it doesn't really, you know, like just the ship of state type of thing. But we have this governor thing, a race, and there's like approximately 40 candidates right now. Mm-hmm. Not quite as bad as the recall. I think there was like 200 candidates or something when that ran. And I don't think there's any in that list that I have seen. Of course, you know, there's only like a half a dozen that are names you might even recognize, right?
Right.
Who see this.
Right.
And I looked at the Republicans. I technically became a Republican 2 years ago. I
am a Republican.
I don't really know where I sit with it, but I still feel like that. At least I just
Those are the principles that I think mostly align with what I believe in. I don't necessarily believe in the individuals that are leading us in the Republican Party, but the principles I still agree with, and
I agree too. That's where I finally came down. It's like, you know what?
Were you a Democrat before, or you were something else?
I was an independent all my life.
I was too.
I grew up in a very
I was a decline to state
liberal,
my whole
progressive.
life.
Exactly. When I out of college, I didn't decline to stay. I didn't even want to go into my racial preferences.
Yeah, I hate.
I was like, I'm not going to mark that. I don't care. You know.
I don't want to be told what to do by any party. I mean, when I first ran for office, I ran as a decline to state, and I got laughed out. I can understand to some degree why there are parties when you're running for office, because the common theme that I face as a person without a party behind me running for office is that I don't have a team behind me. There's no decline to state organization that funds candidates, but the political parties do. Mm-hmm. And so when I realized that contributed to why I lost, I said, I see it's obvious to me that I need to declare a party. Even if it's a minority party, at least I will have a team behind me. Mm. And it made a difference, and it helped me win. So the party's still important, even if it's a very poor party, because there is an effort for that team to try to succeed. It's just they're not as well funded, and obviously in the minority as far as number of voters, and so it's a.
Well, that's what I did in my election campaign too, and I think that I would have had a better chance to just come out and say I am a Republican, and would have made more waves, would have got more people in my face asking me more about just, that in that small town, just very little opportunity to actually have a debate or to express yourself. But
yeah, that's
go ahead.
True, interesting, because running for local offices, there's really very little debate going on. No. And if there is, nobody's paying attention to it. It's like there's 25 people there at the debate. Okay, who cares? I know. And there's no media writing about it.
No.
And it's like, okay, you're talking to such a minority of the voters.
Yeah.
The voters are looking for something else, and we don't know exactly what that is. And
yeah, no.
It tends to be people vote for their party, what their party tells them to vote for.
Well,
that's why we have all these slate mailers now. It's like, okay, the Democrats say vote for these people,
and Republicans,
they don't do a very good job of that.
I mean, I feel like it's interesting to hear that you say you have become a Republican. I knew that you're espousing your philosophy that strikes me as Republican, so it's not exactly a surprise to me, but it is a little bit. And I think that I myself, in joining it, have not, what with the polarity, the MAGA stuff. I mean, I interviewed my TV show, and I've kind of put it all in abeyance. It's like 3 shows with Republicans, and the last show I did with two unabashedly MAGA people, mm-hmm. which was, I thought, a very interesting interview, because I found, I don't know if maybe you know this woman, Deb Baber. Did you ever come across Deb? She's very vocal. I think she's in the Central Valley somewhere. And this little old Jewish woman from Berkeley who was a staunch MAGA supporter. So I had these 2 very old-fashioned conservative women talking about MAGA, and I was fine with it, I mean, it was okay. But I've kind of I just sort of stepped back from my damn show, my God Blessed show, which was really an opportunity for me to be doing it, because I felt like I don't know. I just like I
Well-
just wanted to produce. I'm so tired of doing these amateurish things, and it's so hard when you get rejections. You ask somebody, and they say no. I don't think I want to be on your show, and then you think, God, you just don't even compose a letter correctly, guy. Oh my God, how can you push this thing forward?
One more thing I want to say on that party thing, though,
Yeah.
that's interesting because there's a lot of people in my group who are staunch liberals.
In the Republican Party?
No, in my group.
Oh, in your group, right?
In my
right,
California
right,
States for
right,
Local
right,
Control
right.
Group, because they see what this is, what these bills are doing to our community, and community doesn't have a party, and Republicans and Democrats live in the community, and so my Dem friends who see what's going on are as upset about it as I am. Are they willing to change their vote when they vote? I'm not sure about that, because I hear their anti-MAGA
Rhetoric.
thinking,
Yeah.
and they say, well, they never in their wildest dreams could ever vote for a Republican because they think we're all Trump. And it's like, I was a Republican long before Trump ever showed his face. So does that somehow all of a sudden now I'm a Trumper? Just because he happens to be the main guy? I was a Republican long before him. And so, but the interesting thing is that our group has, and we work really hard to try to maintain a nonpartisan discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Communities are not partisan. Communities are nonpartisan. And so we all have to fight to protect our communities together from all parties in a bipartisan way. And our group is doing that. And it's interesting to watch, to see, we occasionally get into some partisan tiffs, and I work really hard to shut them down, saying we aren't going to move forward if we get into partisan crap. We are all here for one mission that we all agree on. And as long as we stick to that, we're all in agreement and we're all happy. So when we start going off on these other crazy tangents, we mess up.
And it's not easy. It's not
No, it's
easy
not- it's
because
really
a lot
hard.
of people will probe for their answers, and their answers sometimes involve politics. And
It's
like, what do
really
you do with
easy.
this
It's-
quote supermajority, and how do you?
It's super easy to blame everything in California on Democrats. And I can see why it's easy to do that, because they have the supermajority, and there's very few Republican voices in Sacramento. But nonetheless, Republicans vote for some of these bills just as much as the Democrats.
They have.
And so somewhere there's a failure in understanding what the heck's going on.
Yeah, no. In that the comment section of the Wall Street Journal, I feel it's a good for me to have that subscription. What I like about the Journal, I guess the New York Times does too, but you can comment, and the comments are oftentimes much more valuable or interesting than the news articles, and the common thread was it. You sort of see this like kind of angry supposed Republicans are like, well why should this guy's right, why should communities tell me what somebody should do with their property? Somebody wants to build a 10-story building, and so they're buying right into it. The concept.
They forget all the right off the bat that we have zoning, which restricts what you can do.
And that's and bringing that up, and zoning obviously is something that's, nobody should have zoning. That's telling you what to do with your property.
But that's why we have, laws, and
This is why we're a
order,
union.
There's community. There's
a union of people. We're a union. We have a social contract somehow. We have to do this together. Anyhow.
So tell me more about. You still haven't really clarified to me what you
I'm
trying to accomplish as
considering
Guy Meyer
running for governor.
For governor?
I truly am.
All right.
If I had, I acknowledge that it just staggers me to think about my own inability to puff up the resume to make anybody buy it. Though I confess, I've had this mindset for 10 or 20 years that I wanted to stand on something and beat my chest and go, California, please, maybe longer, go this way.
Have you ever held any political office? Elected?
I've lost 2 elections.
I would predict
feel
you will
like,
lose another one.
I feel like
And I
the
don't mean to be
only way
negative,
I could do it would be with a lot of sense of humor and just put myself in that. I play the guitar. I'm not very good at that either. What has that to do with anything? I don't.
Some people like guitar players. You can appeal
I
to the
felt
guitar
like,
player
I felt
party.
like I wanted to find a bar somewhere that would hire me to play like 2 or 3 hours a day for 5 days a week, and we could put. I don't care what town it is in California. The next governor of California guy will be here all week long in Placerville or whatever, plinking and plunking. I just want to do something kind of fun, but I'm getting old, and I know that sometimes when you get old, if you're like my dad was a real political utopian dreamer, like un-Republican entirely, but I think I altered his thinking a little bit in life. But he was, the world has to all come together and we all have to join in some grand federal, and it just kind of started basically we kind of had a path separation when I turned 18, Vietnam, and I didn't want to go to jail. And he was like, he thought the hippies were going to be his deliverance. They're finally going to take. He was a utopian. He had the dream. He wanted to write it all out. He called it the New World. And I kind of ran away from him. It's like, Jesus, Dad, how come I have to be junior too? People think he'd write letters to the editor for a while, and people go, Guy, I saw your letter. Wow. They go, no, that was not me. That wasn't. I tried to change my name when I was in my 20s, and I gave up. I said, fuck it. Oh, well, I'm just Guy Meyer. So be it. But he, by the time he was 90, he was like, new world or no world. We've got, this world has to get better values, and he was right in many things. Actually, he was a Gandhian disciple of nonviolence to some degree, and he believed that all human beings have value, and if you talk to anybody face to face, that's how you deal with it. If you have an enemy, you talk to him face to face and you hear his position. You don't lock him out the door and just have everybody call you your enemy. And plus he also had an idea about communists and socialists, and he made it clear that he was not a communist, and he made it clear what communists were, and he didn't advocate anybody who thought the shortcut to success, of what you say, your means to an end, is more important than how you get there, which is like a lot of the world, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, fuck that. Yeah, like the Democrats. Yeah, they're rigging those elections. Let's go, California. We'll show them. That's horrible. They're rigging those elections. Let's just destroy this whole thing here. We'll have retaliation. This will heal everything. The fucking idiots are just like, oh God.
So you're going to spend a lot of energy to run for
I don't know. I'm trying to put it out there and have the courage to stand up behind my own.
Well, I appreciate
gumption.
The idea that you were willing to stand up and make a statement and
well, I just
put some energy into it.
I don't want to.
My personal opinion is that your energy would be better spent elsewhere.
Yeah. And I think that you're not
an area where you could actually make a difference, because I don't think you stand a chance of even finishing in the top 25.
Right.
And so why would you want to spend all that energy, time, and or money? Yeah, you might be able to help educate people a little bit along the way and share your philosophy and things like that, but I'd sure rather see your passion help out in fighting some of this other stuff.
Yeah,
where
no,
you could
I don't.
actually
Yeah,
have, I think, potentially a bigger impact
well,
in rallying behind ONV and helping us pull a Prop 13 and get something on the ballot that brings some common sense back to our state.
Well, I really feel like, I mean, and in some ways, I'm putting this out there as seeking direction as well. I mean, I've shared this now with Amy and one other friend who, I mean, I've been hesitant to just reveal like the nature of my audacity or / foolishness.
Well, I can understand that hesitancy, but at the same time, it's almost too late to get into that.
Yeah.
Because it takes such a huge, monstrous effort and machine to help spread the word about who you are and why people should vote for you. I know how hard it is just to do that in Torrance.
I'd say the thing of it is I can't spread. I could put as one of my great puffery on my resume would be the greatest non-influencer ever. The guy who has been spouting things on the internet with no apparent influence for 20, so you don't have to worry about me, Bo, because I cannot influence. I don't know. I'm trying to think,
and see, that's the other. Just I'm being real. I don't mean to turn you, to be negative on you, but if you can't win a local election, how are you going to win a statewide election?
Right.
And I think somebody who's won I would think I would have a better chance just because I've won several elections.
You would, and I think you'd make a good governor.
I appreciate that, and I just don't want that job, unfortunately. And I know how hard it was to be on the city council for 10 years and how much of my life I gave up for that.
But I think the governor would be easier, Mike. You don't have to be there at 7 in the evening and stay till 11 o'clock. What does Newsom do? Come on, you got a staff of a dozen people or whatever.
He's got tons of staff.
You got to sleep in a nice mansion for a while and, and just show up at your appearances and just comb your hair the right way.
But running for office is the worst part of the job. I mean, I'm actually thinking of running again for a lesser position. I'm very seriously considering putting my name in the hat for our Torrance treasurer, which is a very low stress, easy peasy job. It'll keep me involved in government a little bit, but not in a voting capacity.
Bit of a salary there in Torrance?
Yeah, a little salary from that.
That's good.
And but it's I just at my age I want to enjoy life more.
Right.
Unfortunately, I lost my son 5 years ago, and that really changed my whole line of thinking about life. Life is short.
Anxiety and what are you doing?
And I just, why do I want to give up my life for the city? I like the city and I care about it, clearly. Everybody in the world wanted me to run for mayor, and I said, no, I don't want that. I don't need that. I'm giving up too much of my life as it is. I'm going to sadly be a little bit selfish. I'll continue to do the things I'm passionate about, like my California Cities for Local Control, my other charities that I work for. Those mean a lot to me, and I will continue to do that. But I don't need to give up my life to be the mayor of Torrance.
No, you may be.
If I was 20 years younger, I maybe would consider it.
The classic
and I
sense of the people with wisdom are the people who aren't going to do anything.
I think you have to be a certain amount of crazy to do any of these jobs. I mean, you look at the people who run for president and stuff like that, and I think they have to be certifiably crazy to run for that. And so I have this crazy notion that I've always said, smart people don't run for office.
Well, this is part of the...
And I see that.
Isn't that kind of part of the problem?
My colleagues these people are stupid. They are so effing stupid.
I know, but isn't that kind of the part of the problem, though, really? Going back in 50 years of our life, looking at our environment that always...
Well,
all my colleagues and friends, that was just... you're an idiot if you want to even stick your nose into that thing. Stay away from that world.
And I told myself that before I ran for the
Buddhist
first
monks
time.
would tell you the same thing. It's the road to hell if you go to
Yeah.
politics.
And so anyway,
I don't know.
it's been an interesting experience for me. But I don't want to give up the rest of my life.
Good for you.
I'm 67 years old, and
Good for you.
I don't know if I have 10 years.
No,
I mean,
you've got your.
I don't want to.
You've got your wisdom working, your inner compass working, anyways, and I'm just sort of like.
How old are you? Do you
Trying-
mind me asking?
Now I was born in '51. That makes
wow.
me
You're older than me.
74.
Wow. Okay.
I'm having
got even more wisdom than I
rough
got.
time lately too. I wouldn't even want to admit running for office, though. I feel like I'm fucking near. If I live another year, it's going to be a miracle. I've got heart issues, which I refuse to like. My dad had a pacemaker, an early stage of pacemaker. He lived to 92.
Oh,
He
wow.
got it installed, I think, when he was like about my age, 74. And I get these little arrhythmical stuff in my heart, and I've been in a little bit in rough shape lately, too much insomnia, and
Yeah, you didn't. A couple of the comments you made in your emails made me say, "Wow, you're a mess."
I am. Did I reveal that?
You did.
Okay.
And it's like I don't want to be a mess. I want to.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy.
Yeah.
What little life I have left. I don't know how much it is, but I know I'm on the downside, and neither of my parents lived past their 70s, and I just. I feel good. I'm generally healthy, but.
No,
I
you're
don't
doing.
know what it is.
You're doing good. I wish I had. As a friend told me once, 15 years ago, Guy, you got your dad's gene. You have the fool's gene. I was like, shit. My dad wanted to save the world, and he would.
Well, and I felt that way too. When I got on council, I said, I'm going to jump into this with both feet, and I dedicated myself way, way heavily to do that job. And I look at my colleagues on the council, and they hardly spend any time. They don't do a shit. It's like, I couldn't do that. When I take on a job, I want to do it 100%. And if somebody calls me up and says they want me here at a ribbon cutting for some bozo business, I'm going to show up because that's what they expect. And my colleagues are quick to say no, but I do it. And I don't know, I just feel a certain obligation. So even though it's not required that I do all that, I just feel that I'm here to serve the public. And the public wants me for this, they're going to get me.
I saw the really sweet tribute that reporter did on, I think must have been local TV. That are you after you announced your retirement?
Oh, on my retirement?
And it's like a 7-minute thing.
There was a
That
bunch
was
of those.
that was a beautiful tribute.
I had a lot of great
I
stuff
thought,
people said.
wow, good for you. I mean,
Yeah.
God bless. Holy cow, Mike, you put a vibe out there into Torrance that people picked up on, and
No, people love me. It's amazing how well liked I am, and
it's a tribute. It's a tribute
No, I
to
know
you,
that.
and it's a
And-
tribute to
and-
what humans can be.
But they also realize that
like a Republican, if they only knew.
yeah.
You know.
Well, I don't advertise that.
Right. But this is like, yeah.
It is amazing to me though how many non-Republicans like me
Sure.
because they don't really know, and that's the way it should be. Is like the person for who he is, not who he stands for.
But this was my foot in that world from an early age. I moved around a bunch as a kid. Lucky enough to grow up rural in Maine and in various places where the old guys, the parents of my friends, the World War II veterans, the Korean, I kind of loved them all. I loved the people who were just old-fashioned. I never saw something wrong with being old-fashioned. I always kept that door open. I got it when somebody would look at me with my hippie long hair and go, "What the Jesus?" Or my best friend's father who caught me playing Jimi Hendrix Star Spangled Banner at a high volume in their living room in 1971 and practically had to turn that, what the hell is that? And rip this thing off. Stop that caterwauling. Jesus. And
we were lucky, though. We lived in a good time back in those days.
Yeah. Well, anyways, but that's just, to me it all was part of conservative never was an evil word in my mind.
Yeah, it's become
it might have been different,
yeah.
But I just say, well, I was just so liberal, I started thinking open-minded about what conservative meant, and started thinking more and more that was just fine.
I really sense your passion about things, and I totally feel that you should channel that passion into something productive.
Well, I want to, and I'm looking for guidance, and I don't know, and I think, in a way, the TV show, I think, still maybe, but there's a part of me that, like I don't know how to move it forward. I really want it almost out of my hands. It's like, give me a producer, give me somebody who can just like guide. I've got a little money, not a lot of money, but a little money.
But the media is a little bit slanted politically as well. And if you have a show that offends their senses...
Oh, yeah. And then I become just more of a non-influencer again.
I mean, look at all the conservatives who are publicly conservative who have been blacklisted in the industry. And unfortunately, that's the way the industry has become. And it's like, holy crap, you can't even have an opinion and stay in your own industry. If you share your opinion, how you really feel, as opposed to be a lemming, then you get ostracized.
Well, the whole thing makes me actually want to reread. I think I read it. I'm pretty sure I read it 50 years ago, Brave New World, because I think that book actually hits on a lot of themes about what this world is becoming. And Aldous Huxley wrote that book in 1930 something, 2 or 3 or 4, and a relative had a book called Brave New World Revisited on their bookshelf, which was written in 1957 by Aldous Huxley. His looking back on his work and reflecting on what he wrote and what in 1957 as he looked into the future. And it's really a good little read, because he said basically he wouldn't really change much of anything in terms of what he believed, that the threat was just like what you talked about earlier. He clearly spoke it out. That more and more, where people do not own their own home, own their own land, you will see a gradual accepting of an authority ruling them. And then he also said that he predicted that the world would turn toward communist regimes in the future as the world became more and more populated.
Right, well, because more and more people become dependent because they can't provide for themselves, and I see that more and more today. I mean, today it's almost accepted that you're taking a handout. I could never take a handout. I would live in my car before I took a handout. And the sensibilities today is, give me as many handouts as I can get. And that's what happened to the way of thinking.
I think it's, to me, it's just this...
And that's what's leading us down into a horrible, horrible direction. Because everybody wants a handout for everything.
I just think it's technology overwhelming our brains. We were so separated from nature, so separated from a lawn, so separated from...
But that's where I disagree with you, because I'm a technology huge fan. That was my whole career, is in technology. Wow. And it didn't alter my way of thinking.
Yeah.
And I think technology, when done in an appropriate manner, has so many positive benefits.
Well, definitely it does. But I think perhaps in terms of, even looking at AI, what are your feelings there? Can you see that?
It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
It's funny, I wrote my college thesis on artificial intelligence way back in the 80s.
Oh, my.
And here it is.
Right. Wow. Well, the computer technology, in a way, is just a continual trend, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah,
but now
no,
it's
no
just
question.
sped up. All of a sudden, it's like
this was well predicted, and it's now coming true. And so, what's the next thing 40 years from now going to be beyond artificial intelligence?
well, why don't you ask AI? Yeah, that's what my question for AI would be
but
like.
that's the problem with AI is right now AI is only as good as the information under it.
Sure.
If that information is slanted or wrong, AI is worthless.
And that's it's going to be based on humanity.
It is. So
they can
that's-
finally base
that's
AI
the bad
upon
part about AI.
base AI on more AI, and then we'll finally be liberated from all these idiot humans. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
It's bizarre. I do think that it's a fantastic material for comedic satire, and I don't see that too much. I mean, I haven't seen good movies that satire our modern world to the element I think it deserves. You know, a modern day Charlie Chaplin or something in this. It just, I don't know. Yeah. Well,
How did you hook up with Amy?
you know, I'm in the neighborhood there. And,
Marin's a pretty small community.
Yeah, and you know,
What's the
I
population
became 250,000.
Oh, is it that big?
Yeah,
Marin County or the
all
city?
of Marin County.
Okay.
200, no, maybe it's 210,000. All right, but it's over 200,000. 210,000.
So what city are you in? Are you?
I'm in town of San Anselmo,
Oh, San Anselmo,
population
that's
12 or 13,000. San Rafael next door is, I think, population about 35,000 now.
Which city does Amy live in?
Amy lives in Mill Valley.
Mill Valley.
In a very up on the hill, rural, needs her car to get up and down, fire danger, all that, but beautiful, you know, just beautiful. And she's on a, you might know, she's on the planning, the county planning commission for the Homestead Valley, wherever the county has what do they call that? When it's not, they don't have a city.
Town council?
Yeah, right. The people that in the county has planning commissions for general areas that.
Right.
Anyways,
it's a non-decision making body.
Yeah, so I got connected with Susan Kirsch, and I mean, I did an interview. I was concerned about this RENA stuff about a dozen years ago. I mean, I saw it going in the wrong direction then. I mean, I saw it even before that.
It was bad, but the good part about it a dozen years ago is there was no penalties.
Right. No.
All of a sudden now they put the penalties in there, and holy shit.
I did it.
The world's going to come to an end over RENA in the next year.
Well, I mean, if you were governor, I mean, I'm thinking, what power does one have? If you were governor, without the Assembly and the Senate backing you, can you do some Trump kind of stuff and just like, nope, we're going to pull the plug on that, and we're going to pull the plug on that?
If you were a conservative governor in a supermajority Dem
Might not be able to
legislature, you
pull
would
the
not
plug.
be able to function.
You can't pull the plug.
And that's how Newsom has all the power. He can do whatever he wants because he's got the 100% backing.
RENA should be over. The whole concept of this artificial numbers and the state assigning should be completely over.
It's completely horrible.
It is.
And okay, but pick one thing and let's not. Let's either go with RENA or go with these other laws, but not both. I mean, RENA, at least the cities have some control over where that housing can be built.
Allocation.
Through housing elements.
Allocate you.
But the numbers are still ridiculous.
It shouldn't be assigning numbers, I don't think.
But the worst thing is the changing our zoning and mandating types of buildings that we don't want in certain zones. That's far worse than RENA.
But it's all part of it. To me, I think it's just
except,
part of this concept.
Except RENA allows cities to decide where the building will happen.
But again, I don't think that the state should be telling
I completely
the
agree.
Towns or cities that you have to
but
grow
they're giving
this
us,
way or that way.
They're giving us a double whammy. They're giving us
Right.
RENA and the mandates for all this other crap all at the same time, when it should be one or the other, if either. If,
Yeah, I had a representative
both.
from ABAG, Associated Bay Area
Yeah,
Governments, on this TV show that I did probably around 2012 or 13 or something like that. And I tried to bring, because I was already like this is wrong. There's something about this fundamentally is wrong. And I had ABAG representative, I had 3 other local, I hoped that I got some people who would give some pushback, and I became kind of like the moderator instead of like an advocate, and the person I hoped was the voice of reason just kind of sided up with Rena. Though I think it was from that show that one mayor of Nevada, who's really a sweetheart. She's been in town council for 20 plus years, and she's actually part of ABAG. But at least she acknowledged, well, Guy, I think at carrying capacity, maybe that's a question we should think about in California. I said, thank you. Just saying that on here. Just say that. Thank you. That's a good thing to say. Yes. Maybe we should think about that. I don't know. I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but maybe.
You talked about, trying to function in Sacramento if you were in the minority party. And I have a good example of that happening where one of our assembly members who was a Dem got beat by a friend of mine who was Republican. And it was a huge deal. Said, oh my God, we got a Republican to beat a Democrat. And so he was all excited and he got up to Sacramento. He couldn't do diddly squat. They just ignored him. All his efforts and all the things he tried, nothing. Nobody would give him the time of day. He said, Mike, I wasted 2 years of my life trying to do good things in Sacramento, but there's no support for what I'm trying to do.
He didn't run again?
He did, and he lost, because then the Democrats realized, oh shit, we can't let that happen again. We need your vote back, and so they reelected the guy that lost the first time. And but the point to that is that my friend, who's a genius, phenomenal ideas, couldn't get anything done. Just a waste of his time in a supermajority and not being part of that. And he just said, I don't even know why I was there. Might as well just stayed home.
Well, I'm concerned a little bit about, in a national level, about the Republicans who, like Marjorie Taylor Greene or whatever, who have Stefanik just kind of resigning, or like, what's his name down in the majority leader who stepped away. There's been so many, it seems like they're just stepping away. You're just now you, it's like, I mean, I want to like.
Yeah, but we don't know what their real reasons are. They're not going to tell you that.
I know, but it's like there's an element of, well, help me out. When, for instance, the Bakersfield guy, what was his name? Mike, who was the House Majority Leader.
Speaker of the House?
Yeah, the Speaker of the House.
Did he resign?
4 years ago, or whatever. We got in trouble, the first Trump administration. McCarthy?
I wish I said I follow federal politics. I don't follow it that close.
Oh, you're smart. 'Cause I try not to. But it was it's like you're resigning in the middle of your term? Because how does that affect? I mean, as far as I know, you can't resign in the middle of your term.
Yeah, you can.
You can, but then you don't, your district doesn't have a representative.
Well, they usually have a special election to replace you.
So yeah,
So you want to be crazy and be in politics?
I don't know.
Well, you got to know pretty quick. If you're going to do it, you got to do it.
Yeah.
It's probably already way too late. But,
Yep.
I mean, I almost feel that way about my run for treasurer. It's almost too late. The only reason I'm hesitating at all is because the incumbent hasn't said what he's going to do. If he runs, I won't run.
Well, the thing is if for running, I have to, I would, or whoever is doing it, you have to be straight up. It's not like, you got to do it. You got to do it, and you got to, and I got to say, to some degree, even my 2 losing campaigns where I didn't acknowledge that I was a Republican, I didn't have the endorsement of the Democratic Party, well, other candidates already did, what are the few other crimes I didn't do? I didn't put my ballot in Spanish as well, because you know what? You have to be a citizen of the United States to vote. So, what? You have to speak English to be a citizen. So why do I need to pay $50 and have a translation? Oh, you did. I can't vote for you because of that. You know, that's just something's wrong with you. You know, and and you know, but I did feel like, and I didn't give enough time for it. Didn't knock on enough doors, I suppose. But it felt good because I felt like, well, you have a fucking mission now. You're on, this is your mission. But I don't know, you're right, and I don't know, and I have to make this whatever. It's, you know.
Well, if you don't run for office, join up with Amy and help out with her group and help out with ONV.
I want to help out, and I haven't been good at that.
Turn your passion into something that's
haven't been
productive.
good at that.
ONV needs some really good people around the whole state to make their effort successful.
I just feel like we need some unification. You know, maybe back to the Republican Party. Maybe back to the Republican Party, because I mean, the guys in Marin County, there was some really good people that when I joined in there, I felt like, oh, all right, I can get. These guys are good. These guys are looking things straight in the eye.
Elected officials you're talking about?
Huh?
Elected officials you're talking about?
No, actually, I'm talking about the internal organization in Marin County. There was a little bit of a rebellion, or going on up there, but they weren't shying away from acknowledging a certain degree that what they perceived as corruption in the Republican Party, the way it was being run in California, right, and wanted to fight that. But I've lost track of some of that. I missed out on some of their meetings, and I kind of let it slide a bit. And I don't know, maybe somebody hasn't gotten back with me or something. I'm feeling oversensitive about that. I shouldn't do that, let that happen. You can't be oversensitive. When somebody doesn't get back to you, give them a follow-up, guy. It's not that they, sometimes shit happens. Yeah. You got to push. I'm not sure. Oh my God, one language, California, number 1, community rights and civil rights. Homes, oh my God, the destruction, oh my God. Your home is your castle. These laws just tell you you can't have shrubbery within 10 feet of your house, or no wooden shingles on your house anymore. Yeah. Shit like that. And it's just like, it just goes on.
I know.
Schools. Get some music, get history. The whole thing of, you're a technology guy. But STEM has become like this religion, and it's like, what about roots? What about people who work in their community? That's a good thing to have, people who work in your community. Right.
It's important to teach people skills, but it's also important to teach people common sense and the tools to gain wisdom and that kind of stuff.
Well, it's been a really good chatting with you here. I got to reach out to the Glenwood people. I'll be talking to Amy. She's rolling her.
Amy's good people.
She's wonderful people. We've had a number of coffee chats. She's rolling her eyes. I sent her this thing just this morning, so she's like, "Oh my God, guys!"
You need to, you're a little bit all over the place. You need to pick something and go fight that battle. You can't fight all the battles. Pick a battle that you're really passionate about.
Well,
you don't have the resources to fight all the battles. I can guarantee you that.
It's not all the battles.
You got a lot of battles in your pile there.
It's California. Now maybe, again, the Bear Flag revolt, I think my brother, who is a Madison Avenue kind of guy on the East Coast, he tried to help me out in his campaign. It was not necessarily the best thing because he didn't really understand the messages that were going on in college. As much as I tried to educate him, and he's sort of aligned with me. You know, he wanted me to be, don't, you can't say that, make it, So there was a little bit too much of a wishy-washy. I wasn't declaring myself strongly enough for things, but he's good. And I would say that I do feel like, these various entities need to come together. I like that concept of a symbol. I like to have like a bumper sticker with a
concept of what?
A bumper sticker with a bear. The bear flag revolt.
Yeah.
Something that just like an image, that people recognize. Yeah, that's part of the rebellious. That's part of those.
It's kind of funny though. You talk about symbolism, and the American flag has now become a symbol of Trump. And all the Democrats I know say, "Oh, I hate the flag. I won't put up the flag on my house anymore." It's like, what the heck?
It's just tragic.
It's crazy.
Bullshit.
It's crazy.
It's bullshit. It's terrible.
It's horrible.
It's terrible. And there are so many things that he does that is cringing.
Is.
They make you cringe. Stop. Why?
Well, he's such a narcissist. It's like he can't get out of his own way.
Why?
And he just thinks he's
such a clear path for a simple conservative vision here. Why do you have to go so nuts?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my! And I kind of want to, I don't.
And then we all get lumped into it because
I know. And there's some things like, okay, well, at least, all right, thank God.
You're an R, but it really means a T.
It's a dilemma. It's a real dilemma. I mean, I posted that in Wall Street Journal a year before the election. It's like he's gonna kick anybody who supports him in the gut. Sooner or later, it was something that's going to make you want to puke, make you ashamed of us supporting him.
And the Dems do that now. Is they just immediately, if you're Republican, they just say, "Oh, you're a Trumper," and then everybody who hates Trump will just vote against you. And I see that happening all the time. It's like, you can't. They paint that picture on you, whether it's true or not, and you're doomed.
I don't know. It's such a conundrum. It's such a interesting.
It's crazy though.
World that we're in right now.
Part of what's telling me is like,
keep away from
the partisan politics has gotten so horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, just in watching it in the 10 years I was on council, when I first got elected, partisan politics wasn't that big of a deal. Every year it got worse and worse, and it's not getting any better. It's getting worse every single year. And it's like, no, we're really going down a path of destruction with that. I mean, it's a civil war. It's the R's versus the D's.
Both of them have declared the other to be the enemy.
And there's absolutely no blending. If this party is for this thing, this party has to be against it, no matter how good that issue is.
And you
vice
are
versa.
whipped into alignment.
And there's no commonality anymore.
And you look at the voices, I mean, so like Wall Street Journal or of the people, all the comments. It's just another hanging jury too. You on the left paper, it would all be that everybody's a hanging jury. Hang them. Yeah. And nobody wants to hear. Well, wait a minute. Do we get a fair trial? Do we get to look at the evidence of anything? Hang them. Fill in the blank. You're on that side? Hang them. Oh, gosh. Oh, well.
How'd we do here? We got hour and 20 minutes on my thing here. I'm going to shut it off if you don't mind.
Oh, my God. You're still...